Hi everyone! So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Amanda and my channel is AmandaMuse. I make videos about being a mom in Malaysia and I do some makeup videos and things, so there's that. Basically, Shaylee contacted me and told me about this series that she's created, this body image after baby, and let me know kind of what was going on and that some other moms were getting involved. And so after watching a few of these videos, I thought this was such a wonderful concept to create these videos and for women to share their stories that I just needed to get involved. A little bit of background about me is that I am 29 years old. I have a daughter, she's 2 years old, and I am pregnant with my son, and I am 32 weeks pregnant at the minute. So we're getting down to the wire here. So I'm not quite body image after current baby, but definitely I can share my experience with my daughter. I fell pregnant with my daughter and I was about 15 pounds over my usual weight. We had just moved to Malaysia, so living abroad for the first time. I had just quit my job. I started eating like 3 regular meals a day. I was eating snacks and desserts and you name it, and basically leading quite a leisurely life. And so I did put on about 15, maybe even 20 pounds. I'm 5'8", so you know, 135 to 145 pounds is pretty normal. 145 being on the heavier side for me. So being that I was starting my pregnancy out at 150 pounds, and then not only that, but then I went and put on an additional 60, like that was just a lot to take. So the first point is, I guess, that I expected to gain weight, but not nearly as much weight as I put on. Another point for me is that I enjoy feeling sexy. As a woman, I like to feel good about myself. I enjoy my body. So while I was pregnant, it surprised me that I didn't feel sexy. I kind of thought with all these extra curves, I would really like own it. And it kind of felt like a little bit separate from myself. So that was an interesting point kind of that happened while I was pregnant. The other thing is that I actually found it really difficult to function towards the end of my pregnancy because I was so heavy. Like I had passed 200 pounds and obviously not used to being that heavy. Like that was a strange adjustment for me. And I actually feel like it did hinder my labor a little bit. So I ended up having an emergency C-section after an attempted water birth. So all of that combined sort of left me postpartum with this strange new body and all these emotions that didn't quite jive. I was a little bit patient with myself postpartum in terms of just embracing my new role as a mom and learning to breastfeed, but I was really quite taken aback with my reaction to my incision. I didn't want to look at it, I didn't want to touch it, I didn't want anybody else to look at it. I felt like I hadn't quite dealt with that aspect of my birth, and that was something I had a lot of trouble with. So at about 3 to 4 months postpartum, I felt like I sort of had a handle on things. We had a little bit of a schedule going on, and I felt like, okay, what is going on with my weight? By that point, I had lost about 30 pounds and had an additional 30 to go. So I was sitting at about 175 pounds, and I was just really hoping I could get down to 145 pounds. Like that was my super goal. At that point, I decided I'm gonna take some action here. So I joined Weight Watchers, which they have this amazing app that you can download to your phone. And I said, I'm just gonna do this 3-month window. I just wanted to get a better handle on how I was eating, the types of foods that I was eating, the quantity, and just kind of get that going. Also, I decided I needed to be more active, so I decided to start walking more, and we're talking baby steps here. I wasn't running any triathlons. It was like, let's just go for a walk around the gardens. So I started getting more active and just walking at least twice a week with the baby. Sometimes my husband would join me, sometimes I would do it with friends, and sometimes I would just go alone. So I just really started to do that. Occasionally I would be able to go to a yoga class, like if I could get somebody to watch the baby. That, of course, was really difficult initially because I was breastfeeding. I did find it very hard to leave her. Emotionally, I probably could have used the break a lot more, but physically, like, it was just, I was like a hot, milky mess. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that I did to kind of get myself into a really positive and healthy state of mind is that I decided enough with all of these maternity clothes that I was wearing.
Watch out!
Okay, it was time for me to go get me just a few outfits that I could wear that fit comfortably, that I could just feel better about my body, that I wasn't squishing myself in to some clothes that were too small, like all my pre-baby things, and yet I wasn't wearing maternity clothes, because there's something about wearing maternity clothes when you're not pregnant, it's just like, nobody wants to be doing that. I also decided to start thinking more positively about my body, because there is something to be said about the thoughts that you say and the things that you actually say to yourself, how they impact you and how you feel about yourself. And so as much as my husband was telling me that I was beautiful and all of these things, I was like convinced he was lying or something. I don't know, something about when husbands tell you things, it's harder to believe it. But I just started to remind myself that I had just been on this crazy journey and created a beautiful baby, and that it took 9 months to put that weight on. Let's give myself at least 9 months to take it off. Far easier said than done, because you can always, people always tell you that, and then you're like, yeah, but okay, I've had the baby, I want to like look normal, I'm starting to feel a little bit normal, but your body's just not quite there yet. One of the things that I know definitely helped me with my weight loss was breastfeeding. I breastfed exclusively. We did, supplement here and there, a bottle of formula just so I could have a little bit of a break, but I would say the most of the part, especially when I got to about 4 months postpartum, it was exclusively breast milk, and that definitely helped with my weight loss. Between 4 and 7 months is when I dropped another bunch of weight. And what was really nice is I remember going to this yoga class, and a friend of mine kind of looked at me, and she hadn't seen me in a while, and she was like, oh my goodness, you lost a lot of weight. And that felt so good. Like I'd probably lost about 15 more pounds at that point. And there's nothing like a friend or somebody telling you that. So for those of you who have friends that are going through this weight loss journey, don't hesitate to tell them that they look great. Share the love, you know what I'm saying? I think it's safe to say that by 10 months, I had lost most of my baby weight. So I was down to probably about 150 pounds, 145 pounds, and I was feeling fantastic. I had no need for maternity clothes. I was just wearing clothes that I was comfortable in. I did some shopping and bought myself new clothes that fit and were tiny, and I was feeling so, so good. By 12 months postpartum, it's safe to say I had lost all of the baby weight. I felt absolutely amazing. And actually, as I carried on into the new year with my now 1-year-old, so this was last year, I actually went and lost an additional 5 to 10 pounds. I was actually the smallest I have been probably since like 9th or 10th grade. So that felt amazing. People that tell you that your body will never be the same, or that, your stomach will never look the same, they're lying to you. Everybody has their own story. Everybody goes through their own experiences, and you can't just pinpoint how your body is going to react. It's the effort and time that you put in. Genetics play a huge part. So if you were never a size 4, don't anticipate being a size 4. Do you know what I'm saying? Like now, I breastfed my daughter up until she was about 22 months old, and I fell pregnant when she was 18 months old. My second pregnancy now, I started out at about 137 pounds, which, as I was saying, is actually quite tiny for me. And now I'm up to about 176 pounds at 8 months pregnant. So this pregnancy, I haven't put on as much weight, but I still have put on, a surplus of 30 pounds. And I think it's safe to say that some women just are, they prone to put on more weight, and some women don't. For me personally, I'm realizing that when I'm pregnant, it just kind of doesn't matter what I eat, I just put on weight. But this time around, I know that I'm going to lose the weight, and I'm really confident about that. So I don't feel that pressure on myself to lose the weight so quick. I mean, I would prefer not to be 176 pounds, but that said, I have a baby in my belly. Now, let's not sugarcoat this. I take a look at my butt in the mirror and I kind of cringe because I'm thinking I own that thing, but c'est la vie, right? It's just the way our bodies work, and our body does a crazy thing creating this baby, so it's going to go through some crazy changes. At the beginning of this video, I told you how much I love feeling sexy and just like owning my body. Well, when I'm pregnant, I don't feel that way, and I still don't feel that way in this being my second pregnancy, and I'm certain that it has something to do with the fact with the weight that you put on and your hips start to widen. I didn't get stretch marks on my belly, but I got them on my butt and my hips and the insides of my legs because my body just like went so big to so small. Those stretch marks do go away. They faded to a beautiful silver that nobody even sees. So that's kind of just, part and parcel of being pregnant. So as much as I say I don't love my pregnant body, what I do love is what my pregnant body is doing, and that is creating a new life. And because of that, I'm totally okay with the process. It's the way she goes. The face gets fuller, the hips get rounder, the boobs go like 12 sizes bigger than they need to be. It's just what happens. And I feel like we just need to be patient with ourselves. And it takes time to create a baby, and it's going to take time to take off that weight. And sometimes you got to put a little bit more effort in than maybe your friend. But if you really want to look a certain way, I think you can do it. You just kind of have to put your mind to it. I think like anything, just Take your time with it. Remind yourself that you created this beautiful life and that your body was the vessel, and it's just going to take some time for everything to go back to normal, or it's a new normal. Let's use that term. It's not going to be what it was before. Things have changed, but I feel like you get a really wonderful appreciation for your body and what it can do. And I have to say that since having my daughter, I feel like I own it. Like, I got this, you know? I feel absolutely comfortable in my own skin. I just feel super confident as a woman, and I feel very blessed as a mother. So I hope that this video helped you on your journey, and I wish you the very best of luck. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!